Hello everyone and welcome back for Angels with Scaly Wings. Here we go. And I can get rid of the timer. Yeah, I pinged my friend in PM and I pinged Justin in promotions and I have no other friends. Hello Gabriel, I'm doing pretty good. How are you? So we have left off actually having accidentally just going so there we go. Yeah, I'd recently just done a few new settings in OBS in which I just have the games in another scene and then a few things in groups, just clean it up a bit. I forgot to enable the view on Angels with Scaly Wings. I have my intermission on another scene and that's what I'm now using for the intermission, just one button and it's off or on, whatever. Alright, so from last week, we didn't take too long on Anna's chapter 3, so we ended up trying to push out her chapter 4, and that would include her ending, so it kind of went from a really short stream to, oops, I went way over time. So, we are starting a new game, and this time we're going to be focusing on Lorem up there. So everyone else, as you can see on the front page here, everyone has their plot armor. You can also see so over here. Which means, since we're also going with Lorem, nobody is going to really die. Well, I can't say nobody, because there's reses victims. They're mandatory, unfortunately. Chapter 1. Duty. I awoke from uneasy dreams, looking at an unfamiliar ceiling. Just for a moment I wondered where I was before the events of last night all came back to me. After a good stretch, I looked around the room, illuminated by the sunlight coming in the window. Outside, in the distance, the portal I had emerged from proudly stood on the peak of a small hill. Take everyone's plot armor. Yes, we gave it to them, and it can never be taken away now. Unless we wipe the data and start again or something. The audio stream's current bitrate 0 is lower than recommended bitrate. What? I assume you can hear me, right? Yeah, that's right, unless you go for bad endings. The characters do kinda get injured or die or whatever on good endings too. So open widget. Why does it say the bitrate is 0? That doesn't make sense. Yeah, I thought so. I just have this notice on YouTube that says my current stream, the audio stream's current bitrate is 0, is lower than recommended bitrate. We recommend you use an audio stream bitrate of 128 kilobytes per second. That doesn't sound right, because I have audio going in OBS, apparently it's going through. Whatever. After a good stretch, I looked around the room, illuminated by the sunlight coming in the window. Outside in the distance, the portal I had emerged from proudly stood on the peak of a small hill. You can still go for the bad endings if you wish. The only thing is that you can't kill the characters. Yeah, the character is completely safe with their plot armor from the good ending, but you can still go for the bad ending in which they'll be less fortunate. Let's take Bryce as an example because we experimented back a few stories ago where we had his bad ending, and even in the evil ending, actually, we got him killed by blowing up. Got his bad ending. We intentionally did that first, or I did. Then the good ending, and then he's just safe and protected from all harm. And then we later came back trying to blow him up again, and it turns out, hey, wait, we've got a bad feeling. 60, maybe. Let me see if we can take a look at settings. The only thing I see is that it's set on stereo, even though my computer's running 7.1 surround. And that would be from my headphones here, Razer. Otherwise it says the sample rate is 44.1 kilohertz. I don't see anything regarding kilobytes. I don't know. Oh, but audio bitrate is actually set at 116. Alright, whatever. Yeah, it shows that my stream health is good, it's just that for whatever reason I had a suggestion. The audio stream's current bitrate 0. And why is it 0? Maybe it was when I had a moment of switching between no music. Oh yeah, because it was in my intermission. I actually shut off the music before I turned on my mics. Maybe it was that moment of no audio whatsoever. I don't know, YouTube's being weird. Looked around the room, illuminated by sunlight coming in the window. Outside in the distance, the portal I had emerged from proudly stood on the peak of a small hill. And I have the wrong window selected. There we go. Getting ready, I noticed something lying on the table. It was the note Remy had left for me in case I needed anything, along with his own home phone and work number. There were also some numbers for delivery of food and other necessities, as well as emergency and even janitorial services. He had certainly thought of everything, even though I now had to wonder what a dragon plumber might look like. That would be, interesting, a dragon plumber. My musings were interrupted when the doorbell rang. When I opened the door, I was met by another dragon. So it turns out we've seen this before. Would I be safe in assuming we do not want to skip ahead? As you wish. There's Sebastian. Hello, you must be Cabbage. I'm Sebastian, and I'll be your escort for security, I suppose. Usually I work for the police, though. Yeah, it's normal, okay. He seemed a lot smaller than Remy, and when he somewhat nervously extended his arms towards me, I noticed he apparently only walked on his hind legs. The two forelimbs instead having distinct arms, hands, and fingers. Shall we shake his hand, not shake his hand, or kiss his hand? I think me and Justin were teasing Jason when he was coming to this scene. Had him kiss the hand. How to speedrun, just skip everything. Yeah, there would be, I can't imagine it would be exactly that fun, because, just go to settings, text. Yeah, you set it to skip all messages and keep skipping, and then you just press tab, and then you're gonna skip literally everything. You just have to quickly pick one, pick one, pick one. Kiss? Alright. When I took his hand into mine, preparing to kiss it, I could feel the individual bumps and scales on his rough skin. Nice to meet you too, Sebastian. So, where are you taking me? And do I actually see a bit of a blush on his face there? Straight to business, eh? We're going to visit the plant where they're making your generators. They have some news for you, or so I heard. Reza will be there too. Yes. Excellent. Sounds great. Just follow me. While we walked, I was under the impression we had purposefully avoided the busier parts of town, instead straying towards the edges and small alleys as to not garner too much attention. Even then, we got the occasional stare. After just a couple of minutes, we arrived at our destination. We were met by Reza, as well as yet another dragon, a vicious-looking beast that didn't stay too close to him. Yeah, that's a good point. Flushing through the scales. Dragon's flesh harder than human mortals ever could. It goes through scales. Hey! Reza, long time no see. How true that is. Good to finally see another human face around here. Acceptable breaks from reality. What a coincidence to have you, of all people, show up. Yeah, guess those degrees aren't so useless after all. By the way, who's your friend? Just my bodyguard, same as yours. Don't bother with him, he doesn't talk much. Do we bet that he'd win in a fight against ours? Does he look grumpy, or is it just like Reza? A troll? Right, I remember Doppel, I think, wanting to troll Reza, so just like you. Is that your choice, Doppel? Just like you, troll Reza? Alright, troll train. Very funny. The two dragons exchanged a few words as I met the gaze of the larger Tenebris dragon a few paces from us. Sebastian turned towards me and spoke up again. Hey Cabbage, this is Maverick. Nice to meet you. Yeah, whatever. Just don't expect me to give you any special treatment like everyone else is, and we'll be good. What are you talking about? So you're saying you haven't noticed the stairs and how they all treat you like you're the next messiah or something? No, I just thought... We're not the ones making a big deal out of this, you are. We're just here to get what we agreed upon and then we'll be gone. If anything, I'd actually prefer if you left us alone, but you're the one who insists on following me around wherever I go. I really like the sound effects. They're very well done and placed. A growl escaped from the darker dragon's trembling lips as he bared his teeth at Reza. Alright, that's quite enough. Let's all just go inside already, shall we? After you. The crisis was quickly averted as we entered the building, which was characterized by its many floors, high ceilings, and long narrow hallways as Sebastian led us to our destination. Here you are. I was waiting for you. Wait a minute. I thought you were going to meet the guys from production. What are you doing here? Sorry, we were going to meet. They're only coming in later today, so you'll just have to make do with me. I see. Well, Cabbage, this is Anna. She kinda manages this building, though she's actually more involved with the research wing rather than production and engineering. Nice to meet you. My pleasure. I have something for you, by the way. It'll take them a while to make all the generators we promised, but we've got one here for you. Feel free to send it home and give it a test. Somewhat naughty, Anna. That's great, I'll take it. It looks a little small if you ask me. Don't underestimate its power. And do be careful not to drop it. Sure, I'll be waiting outside while you do your thing, Cabbage. This actually reminds me, I haven't checked Angels of Broken Hearts in a bit. Well, it looks like there is a new comic today. I don't know if I missed one or not. Yeah, I probably did miss one or two. Alright, so Angels with Broken Hearts in the last week or so. Suppose I'll be, really naughty Anna, yes. Not so naughty here, really naughty on the comics in the last week or so. power level is over 9,000. Probably. Master at convincing. Shush. I suppose I'll be waiting for you outside as well. What thing? Oh, have you brought the PDA? Of course, here you go. Alright, now to give this thing a test run. The PDA lit up as her hands swiftly moved around its interface in calculated motions. By the way, would you consider letting me run some tests on you as well? It would only take a drop of your blood. What? Why? Antagonizing naughty Anna. I work in biology, so obviously this kind of thing would be very interesting to us. I'd share the results with you, of course. Sure, why not? Great! She was quick to produce a small device from a drawer, which, from a glance, reminded me a lot of a test tube. Now, if you would give me your hand, please. As I reached out to her, she took my hand into hers before she pressed the device into the back of my hand. I winced as pain jolted through my hand. Something sharp drove itself through my skin, and shortly afterwards, a droplet of blood was sucked into a tube attached to a small needle. Thanks. You're welcome? Looks like your PDA is good, by the way, so we're just about done here. And since we're both in biology, it could be interesting if you want to meet me some other time as well. Here's my number. Alright. See you soon. Who's more naughty, Bryce or Anna? I would have to say Anna. I'd have to say Anna. And Bryce... I wouldn't say naughty, I'd just say... Why not both? Yeah, that works. Well, that was interesting. Did she ask you for your blood too? Yeah. Did you give it to her? Yes. So I'm currently looking at my save slots for Spyro Reignited, and I'm about to reach 24 hours of game time. Cool. I would have to take a look at mine, but I've barely played it myself. I think I'm a third way through Spyro 2. I haven't even touched Spyro 3, and I think I've 100%ed Spyro 1. I think that's my current progress on Reignited, and it's on my Switch here. Oh, well, it's your choice. We've got no idea what they might do with it, though. I'm getting hungry. How about some breakfast? I'm all for it. I can't stand early mornings like this. I would probably only have a few hours in it, and I could only probably tell if it actually records progress on the Switch, I guess? Heh, I'm lucky, I don't have to worry about platinum trophies on the Switch. I wouldn't mind it, I would actually like it, prefer it even, if there were trophies on the Switch, just so that they were there. I don't want to focus too much on trophies, but I guess that would be a bit of a hook and a grab addiction or whatever. I've got way too many games to play now, though. It's the whole itch bundle. I've barely touched most of it. I have a couple of games on the Switch, relatively new. Original Sin 2, I believe I've sent Double a link to that. What were some of the other games I got? Lego City Undercover, Crosscode. I was actually streaming that the other day. I did Starlink on stream, I wanted to do that. That looks like everything. Alright, sorry about leaning forward on the camera there, my Switch is under the camera and monitor. That shouldn't be a problem, there's a cafe not far from here. What do you say, Mabbers? I wouldn't mind to grab a bite myself. It is a good game, but I have for some reason managed to just not get back to it. I've just been so busy with other stuff. It's just... That settles it then. So it turns out we've seen this before. I don't believe anyone wants to skip ahead, so we'll just continue going. Luckily for us, the cafe was mostly empty when we arrived, as it was still pretty early in the day. Rez was quick to lead me to a table for two, prompting the dragons to get one of their own at the table at the other side of the restaurant. Ugh, Finally, I can't stand that guy being on my tail all the time. Now, I believe that Doppel and Gabriel both wanted to troll, so that'd be the... Maybe he just likes you a lot. I don't think that would actually be true, but I think that would be the option everybody wants. Troll answer, fair enough. And this time Rez is just speechless. I just can't even. We were approached by an individual who appeared to be the waitress of a cafe. She was an interesting looking dragon who, unlike others I had seen so far, was more akin to a wyvern, possessing two rather large wings as her forelimbs, which resembled those of an oversized bat. Oh, it's the humans! Now, I just instinctively want to respond, oh, it's a dragon! Every stream trolling. That seems to be the general theme. I think we only get one more stream to actually troll him. Alright, so Gabriel also wants to hit 3. Justin also wants to hit It's a Dragon. Fair enough. Oh, it's a dragon! After certain playthroughs, I canonized it as myself having an increasing bad, distrustful feeling at resin. Fair enough. I appreciate that his character was well designed, but just like Doppel there, I increasingly just did not trust him and I did not like him towards the end. I think the only weird one is the evil ending in... I know Doppel hasn't seen it, so I can't really say anything about it because of the spoiling. But again, that's in my 4th stream? It has a red hue on the thumbnail all around. Doppel, if you're still afraid of actually being a jerk to everyone for that, you can at least take a look at my stream to see, well, how it's done and to see what it's like. You do not have a... You're right, he doesn't actually have a good ending in any way. I think his best ending is the true ending. And that's just his best ending. Because even in the endings that we have seen so far, where he actually does get away, he's banished by humans because his story wasn't just adding up, whatever. And they realized that, oh hey, yeah, he totally just sacrificed the entire dragon world for a generator. He's bad, he's stupid, get out of here. So, in the one ending which Reza does come out thinking he's won, he just hasn't actually, so... it looks like Reza is also just... he can't even respond to us. Adine though, oh, she likes our joke. Welcome to our establishment. My name's Adine and I'll be your waitress today. What can I bring you to? Still editing. How well is that editing going? Are you about halfway done? Do we have an ETA of Doppel's Angels with Scaly Wings at Christmas? Welcome to our establishment. My name's Adine and I'll be your waitress today. What can I bring you to? Stuck at halfway? Alright. Coffee, scrambled eggs with bacon, or today's special? I personally can't wait to see Doppel's work with Angels with Scaly Wings there. I'm thinking coffee. I'm a tea drinker myself, but yeah, coffee real quick, real easy. Yeah, me too. Just make it quick. Here we are hungry and we're ordering something to drink. Sure thing, 2 coffees coming up. As I was saying, if you look at the big picture, fair enough. I suppose if you have been spoiling it in whatever other streams and stuff, then it might as well just be there. Otherwise, on the safe side of caution, you might as well, unless you are sure you want to spoil it, whatever it is. Don't you think there's just something off about this whole place? What is it really? Quest for a bucket of moose? I don't know that game myself. Can't help you out there, Justin. I guess I could understand being stuck. Generally, I've been stuck several times. We were actually in a D&D way back last year, I think, before COVID, and I think actually literally a year ago. Our group was in this tower, and we knew that there was magic about it. We were just uncertain of how to proceed because we were so certain that it was trapped. So, being cautious and our trap detectors being off to the side messing around, I was taking my quarterstaff because I was the feeble mage, and I was trying to just poke way at the door so that if anything was going to happen, it would not hurt us because nobody would be actually there. So we were trying to do that, close the door, try to use the staff to open it again by pushing, and as it turns out, we spent half an hour just trying to open the door this way until somebody had the idea, oh, what if I just go up and pull it, because they were getting less and less worried about it being a trap. So finally, we pulled open the door, and it's our DM's favorite moment because the greatest trap he ever gave us was not intended to be a trap, and it was not a trap. Or a puzzle, sorry. It's a door that doesn't open by pushing, it's a door that opens by pulling it open. This is... At some point, Jesslyn, in my position, I would actually just hop on Google to figure that out. Something I don't exactly want to do, but that's what I end up doing. This is supposed to be a completely separate place from Earth, or even a different dimension. Some things just don't add up, don't you think so too? Now let's just grab our tinfoil hat, because we're on the troll train. I've been here much longer than you have been. Maybe you'll see soon enough. You tried? Alright, I can't help you all the same. Can't really say much more with you-know-who over there. He's probably listening to us right now. I don't know. Tinfoil? Okay. Here's the one that I am going to ask, though, is, do you want to say that Maverick is a charming fellow, or do you want to say that he doesn't seem so bad to me? To us, I suppose. Charming it is. Can I hit that with my keyboard? Yes, I can. When I let my gaze wander, I saw that Maverick was looking in my direction. Our eyes met briefly, his expression not showing any discernible emotion, while I wondered whether it had been just a coincidence, or if he really was able to hear us from that distance. Oh, so it's an RNG thing. Alright. I do have some theories, and if I'm right, we might be in trouble. What kind of trouble? What are you talking about? Shh! Be quiet. I'll let you know more as soon as I can. For now, let's just play along. After all, we really need one of these. We already have one of these babies, sorry. He patted the generator's blocks for emphasis. God knows we need them. Oh, there she comes. The female returned, astounding me with her ability to balance the dishes on the edges of her wings. She placed her limbs on the table and proceeded to move the dishes from her wings with a gentle push of her snout. There you go. Enjoy. Thanks. You're welcome. To be honest, I was a little skeptical of the kinds of coffee they might come up with in a place like this. But after a mouthful, I had to admit that it wasn't bad. I've certainly had much worse. When the waitress brought out meals to the two dragons across the cafe, and exchanged a few words with them, Reza leaned forward to whisper something to me. I'll send you a letter with a coded message later. You'll know what to do. Reza rose from his seat before he made it known to me that he still had a few things to do. and left the restaurant, followed shortly by the larger of the two dragons. Laters. I just noticed that we actually gave him slang. Laters with the S at the end. I wasn't in a hurry, so I spent a few more minutes in contemplation while I looked out the window and finished my coffee. Not that this whole situation was already bizarre enough, there was also now the vague sense of danger conveyed by Reza's earlier words. I do not even have an idea what kind of threat might be lurking out there. RNG is beautiful. I saw a speedrun not too long ago, European speedruns. They were doing XCOM 2. I don't know the game myself, except that the runner was actually waiting for some sort of black market to show up, and he actually spent an hour actually just waiting for it before you could finish the game. But it was just taking so long that he just absolutely could not finish the game on time, even if he switched over to a category to start skipping all the cutscenes and everything. It was not going his way that day. Eventually I got up, ready to be on my way for whatever else the day might bring. Are you done? Sure am. RNG equals ow. Have I tried speedrunning before? Not in any official capacity. Back when I was young, I would start playing with Spyro 2, because I was just so good at the game that I would be able to just beat the game in a few hours, 100%. That would basically be the only real time that I speedran. After learning a few tutorials, I did learn in the original PS1, mind you, how to do glitch high jumps and proxies. I don't do the second one so well, but I know how to high jump, and I still can't do the Autumn Plains skip. Fair enough, novel. Yeah, I do like playing games for their mechanics and the story, not so much for the do it as fast as you can. If I do find a game that I really enjoy, like Spyro, and I just play that forever and ever, then it'll kind of turn into a sort of a speedrun because I'm just going through the motions. Still enjoy it though. Sure am. How'd you like it? It was alright. Glad you enjoyed it. Just wait outside and I'll handle the rest here. Sure thing. I stepped outside, taking in the scenery of this strangely familiar world. In the short time I was here, I had already found the similarities between our world and theirs, their own world, utterly fascinating. Is speedrun Spyro reignited? When it reignited actually first came out, there was a runner that I was following who was actually really good at speedrunning, Chris LBC. He's actually also Canadian, so if you're interested, I would suggest finding Chris LBC. First one is probably easy. Second one and third one are kind of more glitch filled, aren't they? Yeah, it is more fun to take time and play the game. I suppose if you're really into the frame perfect stuff, then sure, maybe. I don't have the capacity for frame perfect reactions anymore, though. Fascinating. After all, we were talking about an unmapped place with a never-before-seen form of life. As far as discoveries were concerned, even something as simple as a new unicellular organism, or even bacteria, would have been remarkable. Oops, sorry. Mashing buttons now. My cat's... I think she's feeling the heat too. She's not exactly at her food dish, she's just laying in front of it. And what I think she did is, I think she took her paw just over from her laying position and tapped it. I think I could... I don't think I was ever faced with requiring anything frame perfect, so perfect blocks are kind of thing is definitely not my thing. It's all dodging because it's not frame perfect. My gameplay with crosscode, which I probably should do at some point again, the streaming, would probably show that. My main game on my Switch, not my notebook, I'm actually something 5 levels ahead right now on chapter 5, I think. And it's just everything's easy, and my companions are just trying to catch up and level up. Of course, I'm still limited by the gear, because you're in a level 21 area, you can only get level 21 times a gear, and you're already level 30. Edison was standing in the middle of a village, evidently built by this race of intelligent talking dragons with a society not unlike our own. I do like to 100%. In this game, I haven't actually completely 100%ed because there is the secret after the true ending, and I haven't actually completed that yet. I've touched it, I haven't actually touched it since. And I should. Reza didn't seem to share the same interests and instead was more smitten with the generator, but given our reasons for coming here in the first place, I couldn't blame him for his enthusiasm being focused on something else. My thoughts were interrupted as something suddenly zipped past me, just a little too close, causing me to stumble back. It was a rather small dragon with a bag clamped in its maw, who apparently had somewhere to be. I regained my footing and watched as it disappeared into the distance. Even though I'd seen enough dragons to recognize their variation in size, color, and attributes, I guessed this one must have been a juvenile of its species. Shortly afterwards, Sebastian joined me outside, having taken care of the tab. I gave her a generous tip on your behalf. I hope you don't mind. How nice of you. There it is. In any case, now that you've given us the PDAs and Reza has the generator, you're free for today. So if you want to go anywhere in particular, let me know, or I could show you around town. I was tempted to be given a tour, but considering Reza's words, I wanted to be careful and not stray too far without knowing more about this world first. I think I'll stay home for today. I'll have to get used to everything, you know. I'll just accompany you back then. There we are. Home sweet home. For now, at least. Well, if you need anything, I'll be outside until my shift ends. Otherwise, I'll see you tomorrow. Thanks. See you tomorrow. See ya. I hadn't really looked at the apartment much, so I spent the rest of the day investigating it and relaxing. I considered checking out some of the phone numbers Remy had left me, but I thought it was better to keep a low profile for now. I found the kitchen fully stocked with plenty of groceries, though the variety was wasted on me. I hadn't even been a particularly great cook in the first place, but what was more, I didn't even recognize some of the things I found there. Whether they were edibles that we had back home, or that I just didn't know anything about, or something completely alien, I was unsure, but I didn't want to take the risk of eating anything I didn't know. After all, it was possible that some of the comestibles might be fine for them to eat, but still poisonous to us. And on that line of thought, or note, that's why you don't give chocolate to cats or dogs, because it's toxic to them. Incredibly toxic. I was able to find a shelf that was filled to the brim with a variety of books. While I found the subject matter, man, myth, or reality to be quite intriguing, I had to give it up after a few pages due to its exceptionally dry writing style, which I wasn't inclined to enjoy at the moment. In the end, I settled for an adventure about an adventure novel about a dragon archaeologist who stumbles upon the remains of a long-lost human civilization, after which she is hunted by an evil organization who wants to use the found magical artifacts for its own, for various purposes. While entertaining, I had to admit that it reminded me a little too much of the trashy novels we had back home. I certainly found it amusing that certain tropes were not really unique to us as a species, though I wondered whether this kind of literature had fallen into disfavor here as it had back home where I came from. I was reading a particularly exciting scene in which the hero, Sheridan, uses one of the magical artifacts shaped like a pair of human hands, holding a scepter with a globe that, at the top, that prevented herself from being crushed into a bloody pulp by an ancient human temple's moving walls when I suddenly heard the doorbell ring. Yeah, that would be interesting. Saunders' next project is just a series of novels from the fictitious game. Fictitious novels from the fictitious game. It sounds a lot like Laura Croft, though. There's Lorem. We're gonna be talking to him later. Hello there. Would you please sign here? I'm not signing away my rights with this, am I? I've got a letter for you that requires signature confirmation. I see. Looking over the clipboard the small dragon was holding up to me, I saw that the sender of the letter in question was Reza. There you go. I'm Lorem, by the way. Would you mind if I asked you a few questions? What is this about? I'm just making small talk. Wait a minute. I recognize you. You tried to do the same thing with Reza. Maybe I should report you to your superiors for your inappropriate behavior towards your clients. But it's important! Please just let me talk to Cabbage for a few minutes. You know how it is. If you want an interview with one of the humans, you'll have to get permission from the proper authorities. Help me out here, Cabbage. As an ambassador, you care about the accurate portrayal of humans in the media, don't you? Then you should talk to me. Otherwise, someone else will fill in the blanks, and who knows what they will come up with. Let me show you something. The small dragon opened his bag, rummaging through the number of letters and small packages. Huh, I think I lost it. Anyways, I wanted to show you some of the pictures of what people think humans look like. Some of them have like 4 heads and look nothing like you. It's crazy. What are you, Lorem, a reporter? No, I'm just... You want me to remove them, Cabbage? Is what he's saying is true? Yeah, I guess. I see, that sounds pretty interesting though. Alright, you can leave your number here and maybe I'll call you later, but that's all I can promise. Thank you so much! He quickly produced a small sheet of paper and scribbled his number on it. Afterwards, he sheepishly presented it with both hands. This is becoming one of my favorite moments and definitely a text-to-speech moment. Alright, you got what you wanted. Off you go now.
Lorem.
Perfect.
Sebastian, sorry about that.
Didn't I disable that? There we go.
Self-voicing disabled.
Text-to-speech. Best thing. Sorry about that. Don't worry about it. I guess that should be all. I'll see you tomorrow then. Right. With all the commotion, I almost forgot that I was still holding Reza's letter. With the plain envelope, within the plain envelope was a similar plain sheet of paper with his handwriting. I gotta have text-to-speech to show up what it can and can't do. When I started reading, however, I saw that his wording was so full of pleasantries I knew he hated, that I assumed every word of it was faked, as to conceal its true intention. He did mention that I'd know what to do, but I was unsure of how I was supposed to decode the letter's secret message. I didn't remember ever having this conversation about this topic with him, yet he still relied on me to remember whatever it was that I was missing. Or he thought I was just able to figure it out on my own. This is what it said. Hello, my dear friend. I hope this letter reached you swiftly and in good condition. Unfortunately, we were not able to catch up earlier, so I wanted to write you this letter. How have you been these last few years? How have you been doing? How's the family? I feel like there is so much we should talk about, since we have not seen each other much recently. At least we have a chance to do so in this form. Quite an exciting venture we are on now, right? How have you liked it here so far? Made any dragon friends yet? Haha! Anyways, I'll be looking forward to your reply soon. The only logical conclusion is that every letter Reza has sent has a lemon marking. Oh yeah, that's right, because he's been continuously buying all those lemons. Yeah. Best regards, Reza. That might actually explain it too, because we're always talking about how we're so surprised that we still got the chance to come here anyways, so he probably, He probably did ask for us specifically, too. I could just imagine, for the purposes of decoding, how his first letter might say, "This letter is lemon fresh." The only thing is, only reading certain words and letters was what I thought of immediately, but I couldn't make anything out after trying to find a system within its arrays of letters and lines. Maybe I had to look more carefully. Look elsewhere for hints. Look at the kitchen, pantry, and lemon. What's that? Huh. Let's see, do I have the status? Yes, I do. Alright, so from Remy, bad ending. He does go back, escaping. Talks with the humans, sends people to rescue me, and Remy. Poor Remy is tortured. Shushing? Fair enough. Let me just think to myself. Lorem... Rice. I don't recall anything, not from the bad endings. I think basically every good ending he gets captured or something, so actually referencing something, I don't recall that. I think the only one is that's an anomaly is Rice, because Reza sort of denies having done anything. Fair enough, Doppel. Send me a PM, I'll be interested in knowing that. Yeah, that's the only other thing. And the evil ending, I definitely know that's not the case, because, spoilers, Doppel hasn't actually seen that yet. Unless you want me to tell you. Why didn't I realize it sooner? Lemon juice is about the simplest way to write a hidden message using a household item. We learned about that in chemistry, in the most boring detail. Of course, a message written in lemon juice on paper becomes just about invisible to the naked eye when dried, but after heating it gently, oxidization occurs, making the message visible. I was sitting next to him in class when we learned that. He made a joke about using the method to cheat on his next test, and I replied by saying that he'd have to bring an iron. Had he really expected me to remember a random chemistry class that happened years ago? But then, I did remember it after all. Meet me at the portal tonight, 10 PM, was all the message said. I wasted a good amount of time, but I still had some time left. I'd have to go out to meet Reza, so I decided to make some lunch. Afterwards, I resumed reading my book about the continuing adventures of Sheridan and her exploits in destroying cultural artifacts. Unsurprisingly, it came to a happy end, with the evil organization stopped in its tracks, at least for now. I thought the ending was deliberately left open for ambiguity, but when I turned the page and saw the advertisement for the next entry, in an apparently long-running series of books, I realized all of this had been just a ploy to set up the inevitable sequel. Luckily, the disappointment didn't last long, and I had to get going to meet Reza at the portal. When I got outside, it didn't seem quite as dark as it had been when I arrived yesterday. I might have had difficulties finding my way, otherwise, but I could still see the portal in the distance. As I was walking, I wondered if anyone was following me, but the land seemed oddly deserted. Was everyone already asleep? Eventually, I arrived at my destination. Reza was already standing idly by the portal, his fidgeting making it obvious that he had waited just for me. I was already wondering whether you'd get it at all. Let's see, per the trolling, I believe you didn't make it easy? Or what did you expect? So I'll also ask here, because it looks like that I'm starting to run low on time, if you want me to... I guess we can come up to Lorem's question later. So, what did you expect? Is there anyone that you want to talk with as well as Lorem. I'm personally thinking a dean because there's about 2 lines of dialogue way at the end with Lorem. So Reza is again silent. So obviously we're still trolling him. What a wonderful night it is. Just look up at the stars. You can see them so clearly here, without all the pollution lingering in the air like back home. Almost as if we were looking into the face of eternity itself. For so long, humanity thought we'd find aliens out here. But after all these years, we found that we were still alone in the universe. Turns out we were just not looking in the right place. Sure for a dean? Alright. What's going on, Reza? Why did you call me here at this time? For one, because we're sending the generator back home. Nope. I keep hitting F by accident. Right. Before I was sent here, they told me that they would limit the use of the portal as they couldn't afford to keep it open all the time. In order to keep in contact with us, and to enable us to send things over to them, the portal would be open just for a quarter of an hour each day. Sending something back home wasn't really problematic for us, since the high energy expenditure associated with sending bigger objects only affected the sender, not the receiver. However, this also meant that until all business was concluded in regards to our trade with the PDAs and the generators, we were basically stuck here. As for the other, do you know what this place is? You said something about trouble. How much danger are we in, really? More than enough, I'm afraid. This whole place will be gone soon, and we better not be here when it happens. Yeah, I know. We do? Well then, you know what we've got to do, right? Yeah. How did you find out? It took me quite a while, but maybe we could compare notes and make sure we're right. While he was speaking, my gaze wandered and fixed on some movement nearby. It was hard to make out anything, but I imagined it might have just been the wind blowing through the nearby shrubbery. Except for the fact that there was no wind. Reza. This might take a while to explain, but we've got the whole night. Reza, look! He turned around to face whatever I was seeing. He squinted hard before he called out. You! How dare you follow me even here? The disturbance came closer until it became clear that it was Maverick, who had hidden nearby to listen in on our conversation. I knew you were up to no good. What were you talking about? What are you planning here? Some kind of attack? Wait a minute, there's no reason for... Don't try to deny it, I've heard you both talking about it in the cafe. And I saw the letter. And you think I couldn't smell the lemon on it? Pathetic. You'll have to come with me to the police station now, both of you. Come on, I think you're overreacting, but I'll come with you a bit. Reza, what are you doing? Come on, Cabbage, let's get out of here. In the dragon's side, I could see the wound where the bullet had penetrated his hide, a trickle of blood staining his dark scales and the earth beneath. Reza used the opportunity to run off in some direction, I wasn't sure which. I frantically scanned my surroundings, looking for Reza, though he had already vanished into the darkness. What was I supposed to do? Run away as well? Help Maverick? I was just a diplomat, and I had no idea what was happening. Suddenly, the dragon whipped around, hitting me in the gut with his thick tail. I was lifted off the ground briefly before I felt the impact of my body hitting the ground, hard enough that my vision blurred almost immediately. We should have taken that dragon dose of medication. A deafening roar battered my ears. Was this his cry for help? I could barely move. But I found it better not to try, as to not startle the wounded dragon more than he already was. It certainly would have ended badly for me if he tried anything. I heard him taking a few unsure steps before he lay down on the ground, panting. I'm still watching you, you know, and you better not try to move, for your own good. If I have to get up again and come after you in this condition, I can promise you I won't be nice. It took a few moments of listening to his labored breathing before someone arrived. It was 2 dragons. The first I recognized as Sebastian. The other one I didn't know. I heard Sebastian and Maverick exchange a few words when the Saki fellow approached me. Hey kid, you alright? I'm still feeling a little dizzy. Which one? YouTube? Are we feeling a little dizzy, or do we think we're alright? Think you're a little dizzy? Alright. I'm Brace, the chief of police in this town. Can you tell me what happened? And again, excuse me. Are we not sure? Well, yeah, no, we are pretty sure. Reza shot Maverick and then ran off. Is that so? His face was stern, and seemingly lost in thought as I overheard Sebastian's conversation. Yeah, but you're the flyer on duty. We probably won't find him now. Not here in the darkness, at any rate. Well, that's just brilliant. What do you think, Chief? Cabbage, can you walk? Yeah, I think so. Alright, Sebastian. Take Cabbage to the apartment. Get us help here for Maverick, and then we'll look for Reza. Right on. Come on, Cabbage. I'll help you up. I was still shaken up by the events I just witnessed when I arrived at my apartment. Not knowing anything better to do, I soon fell into a deep slumber. The next day I woke with many questions lingering in my head. I considered calling someone from the police department to ask about Reza and Maverick, but in the end, I decided against doing so, as I was sure they would contact me if they had anything to tell me. I knew it was no use worrying about it now, so I settled for starting another book. It didn't take very long, though, before the doorbell rang. Oh yeah, probably. Even I want to say a small dragon, but a dragon that's probably the size of Maverick would probably have lots and lots of muscle in the tail, and then it would also probably be very heavy, and then it's also scaled. Basically, I don't remember, would the scale actually be harder than bone? Yeah, that would probably be a very, very hard whack. The only relevance that I actually had was back when I was in middle school, I think? Grade 7 to 8, somewhere, I think? I was going down this sled hill at my local school just over that way, actually. And there was this little slope way at the end. I don't think anybody was really going off it until my friends, my younger friends, actually pressured me down the hill. So I went down the hill. I was not happy about going down the hill, so I actually closed my eyes. I felt myself falling onto my back, just riding the carpet on my back, down the hill, over the ramp, into the air. I was airborne for about 2 or 3 seconds, and the next thing I know is that I've landed, my butt is sore, and then my eyes still closed. I could just feel this coldness setting on my skin, and I knew that was snow from the powder cloud I just created. When I actually opened my eyes, because everything had settled, I was looking around and there was this crater right around me. It was 2 meters in size or something. It was a perfect half circle. And I was lucky too, because if I was just a little bit further forward, I would have actually landed on pavement. And I was already 350-ish pounds at the time, so my boots were on the pavement. And if I was just a little bit further, having landed square on my butt, oof, that would have hurt. It already did hurt, but I'm glad I didn't land further than I did. So that's my story that Jason and Samantha tell in their stream. So that's my story for today. It didn't take very long though before the doorbell rang. Did Bryce, the chief of police, take it upon himself to escort me today? Oh, it's you again. Yeah, the wonders of the human body. Are you surprised? No, but I guess that means it'll be bad news. Afraid so. How are you holding up? Better than yesterday, that's for sure. Let's go for a walk then, shall we? Sure. This time I was taken along a different route than yesterday, and I was quite sure there was more to it than just walking. I'll just go ahead and guess you didn't find Reza. Yeah, we hoped he would have come back on his own by now. Do you have any idea where he might be? Maybe he mentioned some sort of place in particular that holds some meaning for him? No, not really. We didn't have a chance to talk that much at all yesterday before. There's that too. I have no idea why Reza would have done anything like that. I had the impression that they weren't very fond of each other, but this. How is he, by the way? Oh, Maverick is doing just fine. But there's still plenty of blame to go around. You're right, they didn't particularly like each other. In his statement, Maverick says that he suspected Reza of planning some sort of attack. Do you know anything about that? No. He only told me that there was something was going to happen. Not that he was planning anything. At least that's the impression I got. He's suspecting you too, by the way. That you both planned this from the beginning. No, that wouldn't make sense. Actually, none of this is making any sense. Why would you go through all the lengths of our agreement only to jeopardize it by doing something like this? We even already have our PDAs, and we don't have much to show for it yet. If we had any nefarious plans, this wouldn't have been a very good idea. You have a good point. I believe you. But from our side, we only have Maverick's words on the whole matter. After all, he was the one who spent most of the time with Reza. But even then, he didn't really have any reason to follow you yesterday, and his behavior was completely out of line. I'm just glad you came up fine. If he wasn't on mandatory sick leave, he would be suspended right now. We'll have to wait until this whole thing is over before we decide what to do with him. I can assure you, this won't be taken lightly. We hope so. Maybe they both acted in the heat of the moment. From where I come from, this attack on a diplomat will be punishable by death. What do you think, you two? Let's see, time. Yeah, we're gonna have to wrap up before we get to Lorem today. Alright, so maybe they both acted in the heat of the moment. Maybe. We still got quite a lot on our hands now, though. We have a wounded dragon and a missing human. This could lead to a diplomatic crisis. Yeah, exactly. I like Maverick. Maybe Reza will still show up soon and we can get all of this behind us. I hope so too. I really wouldn't want to jeopardize everything over this unfortunate incident. Yeah. How about we both just keep quiet about this whole thing for now? After all, I don't think any of us wants our people panicking about this already, right? I merely nodded in agreement. Eventually, we arrived at the police station where the chief took my formal statement in regards to yesterday's events. He asked me about Reza and Maverick too, not that I knew much about anything that preceded yesterday's events, or the mysterious catastrophe Reza had mentioned. Afterwards, he thanked me and left to file my statement while I sat by his table waiting and listening to the ongoings of the small-town police department. When he returned, he was approached by someone who seemed to have urgent news. A lot of talking between the two ensued that I couldn't make out for my position. This went on for a bit until Bryce returned to me. A date with Maverick, yes. Have you read the Making of Dragonland's PDF, Doppel? Maverick was originally one of the possible dates in Scaly Wings here, except that the writer found the story was far too linear and that Maverick was always, I still don't trust you. Sure, you're cool and all, but I don't trust you. I don't trust you. I don't trust you. So he was taken out of one of the options that you could go on a date with. You do have the deluxe edition, right, Doppel? I can send you the PDF book too. Here it is, to make Dragonland. And it's now in your Discord, or uploading to your Discord. PM. Yeah, I like the idea of having Maverick as somebody you could just go out and see. Oh. Sorry about any lag, I just realized that uploading a file is gonna eat up the bandwidth. Yeah, I do like the idea of if we could have, we go see the Maverick, what he would be saying between all the scenes and the dates and stuff. Even if it is the I don't trust you, I don't trust you, I'd have liked to have seen Maverick there. You want to see that? You will have to probably join our Discord, and then I can probably send you a copy of the PDF, Gabriel. That being said, I believe the link is in the description, right? Yeah, you can, second line, first line-ish range. The description, sorry, the link is in the description to Discord. You can just click that, join our Discord, and then in the, what is it? You'll be in introduce yourself. I have that muted myself, but if you just introduce yourself there, just say something, Doppel and or Deb will just let you in. Like use mod? Yeah, that's true. Let me just take a look real quick. Scaly Wings. Where is it? Steam Workshop. There it is. Apparently there are a few things just on the front page. Simplified Chinese, Dean romantic ending, Solitary Mind with Naomi, Not So Tragic Hero, that would be a Dean, I guess. Sorry, not a Dean, Anna. Mod Tools, Post True, Remy's Hatchlings. Those are just the most popular. Hug Remy. Yuck mods. You don't usually read those. Alright, yeah, there is the Steam Workshop page if you are interested in mods. I would like to be able to mod or find a mod that has Spyro as one of the dates in Scaly Wings here. And just technically, and to be fair, Doppel, is the mods here are, yes, they are fanfics of Angels with Scaly Wings, but think about it, Angels with Scaly Wings is also a fanfic, just the developer made it into a game because he or she can. Alright, so afraid I have more bad news. Reza has now officially become a murder suspect. Murder? We're headed to the crime scene and hoped you'd come with us. Me? A crime scene? I don't really know much about forensics. It's just that you're the only link to Reza we have. Consider what he said would have happened to us. It's in all our best interests that we find him as soon as possible, and if he has anything to do with it, you might be able to help us find him. Not specifically to Scaly Wings here, but I have used mods before. Starbound, Minecraft, Space Engineers. I can't remember what else I exactly used for mods, but used mods for RimWorld, Skyrim. I guess the main mods that I have just in general come to Skyrim and RimWorld right now. Of the games that I play a lot, those are the games that I have mods for, mostly. Used to make mods, believe it or not. Right. Yeah, I remember you saying something, I think, about modifying a tank, so that it was just stupid overpowered. It's just that you're the only link to Reza we have, considering that he said what he said would happen to us. It's in all our best interests that we find him as soon as possible, and if he has anything to do with it, you might be able to help us find him. Your cooperation would certainly be appreciated, and it would be a nice gesture to show us that you were trustworthy in the eyes of those who might think otherwise after what happened yesterday. Yeah, that's fair. mods compared to actually building something physically would be pretty different and interesting. I have tried making a few mods once in a while, but I don't stick with them for a whole lot because, I don't know, it's just, I don't know, I don't stick with the game for a whole lot, and then when I have made a mod, it's usually in Lua, so those games are actually the ones I really don't stick with. Something like RimWorld or Skyrim, it's C# and maybe some other language I don't know, so I just haven't even tried it. I guess sort of like a pseudo mod is Space Engineers. It's what is it? Space Engineers isn't mod. I do have lots of mods there, but the programmable block I use Visual Studios, and I've worked on making scripts for the programmable block in C# form. Alright, so I will help you because you'll just keep asking if you decline. Suppose I don't really have much of a choice here, but you're right. We've got to find Reza, and if that's what it takes, then I'll do it. Very well, let us go then. On our way to the crime scene, he tried to prepare me for what would come. I had studied biology, so I was familiar with the sight of dead animals. Asking myself how similar this would be, I wondered if my reaction would be any different. If it wasn't a dragon, but a human corpse I would be seeing. They are along the same lines, because in either case you are working with math and logic. The difference would probably be in the limitations of what you can do. The best example I guess I'll give is in GameMaker Studio you have a very unique language specific to GameMaker Studio, which you can write and program the game. And I've actually got an extension from Yellow Afterlife called Apollo, which is exactly moddable Lua scripts and can be run externally from the game. So what happens is you have to, in GameMaker, provide a list of functions using the Lua API to say, this is what you're allowed to do, this is how it's handled, now go wild. And then you can create those Lua scripts to actually design the game that interfaces back into GameMaker Studio, and GameMaker Studio can also call those scripts, and vice versa. So it's kind of both. It's kind of different. The limitations in my example is in GameMaker Studio side of things, you, the developer, are defining what a mod can and cannot do, whereas in the GameMaker Studio IDE, you are basically limited to whatever the developers there have limited you to, such as not being able to use file systems outside of app data, program files that the game has already made by default. Just that you're not screwing with the system and that nobody else can, as a developer, screw with somebody else's system. So likewise, you as the developer using Lua template, whatever, can define what a modder can or cannot do. Like, are they allowed to use the system time, or are they allowed to create an instance or destroy an instance, potentially the core instance of whatever's running the game? I guess it is, just like I say, it's similar, but it's also different. It depends on the game, the mod, and the language. Because Lua, for one thing, is very different from the GameMaker Studio language. Alright, so here we are talking about biology in the text there, and here I am talking about game development and what Saunders did to make the game. Not actually, I don't think Saunders did this in Lua, or definitely not in GameMaker Studio, it was in Ren'Py. Alright, so wondered if it would be different if it was a human corpse instead of a dragon that I would be seeing. When we arrived, we were met by Sebastian, who gave us an overview of the whole situation. This morning, the victim was found to be a delivery flyer for a restaurant. Blood loss from multiple wounds are the likely cause of death. Forensics is already here, so feel free to poke around. A few paces in front of us, the unfortunate victim lay on the ground, covered by a sheet that was concealed, that concealed the body, but not the red large stain beneath it. We approached while Sebastian went off to deter any curious onlookers. I know it ain't pretty, and I'm sorry for putting you through this, but you know what's at stake here. Just remember what I told you, and you should be fine. Alright. Are you ready? I guess so. Well, it's also interesting too, because we're going to be talking with Lorem, who is also the game dev of the people you can chat with. Lorem is, in this case, a game developer who focuses on the art. He's really good at his art. I'm the one who's good at making 1 + 1 = 2. Well, what do you think? Well, he's definitely dead. Yeah, rip. Let's just say this will be your first test, and you tell me what you can deduce from what you see. Give it your best shot. 2 wings, 2 legs, just like the waitress in the cafe. About as big as a human, lengthwise, if not slightly taller. The wingspan would certainly look impressive at that size. The wounds are kinda hard to miss. True, but what are they telling you? This is a sharp implement. They are clean cuts, from a knife or other sharp instrument. That's true, why does it matter? Dragons don't use knives. Actually, we do, mostly by those who have proper hands to use them, but still. Sorry, that was the wrong one. It could have only been with someone with hands. That's right. Only those of us who walk on 2 legs have the proper dexterity to wield the knife, effectively. Most other dragons would probably just bite instead. Of course, this rules out some of the bigger dragons and flyers. But then Reza still has his, what was it called again? You mean his gun? Yeah. If it was him, why would he kill someone with a knife rather than just use a gun on him? We don't want, because it makes him look cooler. He did not want to make any noise, after all. He ran away from Maverick, trying to hide from the police. Something as loud as a gunshot would have easily given away his position, and alerted others into the area. Alright, that could be a good reason. By the way, which wound do you think was lethal? Yes, dragons have claws. I don't know why, yeah, I don't know. I guess it's the type of wound that's just distinct enough to not be a claw? I don't know. I'm not a forensics or a mortician or anything, and I'm certainly not a dragon. You would think that those could be claw marks as well, it's not just, knives. Granted, I suppose the wounds, like, on the wings there, they are very straight, not claws. Yeah, I guess what Doppel says, because if you're looking closely here, that looks more like a straight cut from that of a knife rather than a claw mark from, I don't know, cat's claw? I don't have anything on my arm right now. She's apparently not scratched me in a long enough time to actually leave a mark. I've got nothing to make a reference. So the one in his neck. That's right. If all the blood from this wasn't a giveaway, the stab wound characterized by the rather small footprint, you can also tell that it's the deepest one. Excuse me, and from the location, it's pretty obvious this must have done tremendous damage. What else do you see? Well, there's a lot of blood. The blood splatter suggests that it isn't blood. He died here. Else there would have been a trail we could... Yeah, otherwise there would have been a trail we could follow. The splatters also suggest this is where they fought. That's true. Unfortunately, it doesn't help us determining who the perpetrator is. Objection! Excuse me? Sorry, I just always wanted to say that. Go on, please. What about the blood on his muzzle? You tell me. The blood on his muzzle suggests that he was a vampire. The perpetrator... Sorry, it might be the perpetrator's blood. Yes. It is when you go from the scenes, because this is actually a minigame. You start the game by looking and focusing on the wings. So you see the stab cuts all on the wings are actually flashing blue. And then when you succeed and move on to the next stage, then it's going on to the wounds on his chest and neck, whatever. Which one was the lethal one? And it's, you know, the one in his neck. What does the blood splatter beneath him suggest? That's where the blood turns blue, flashes blue. Yeah, it's what Double says, it's a highlight. So the last one is also the blood on the muzzle. So that one just flashed blue. And what does that blood suggest? Yes, that is true. I expect forensics has already taken a sample of it, so they might actually help us determine who the perpetrator is. I think that's about everything. So investigation over. You know what, kid? I'm impressed. Maybe we should have you around more often. Hey, Chief. Do you still need a witness here for anything? Sebastian approached with the dragon who had discovered the body earlier. I recognized her as Zadine, waitress from the cafe. She seemed distraught, which, given the situation, wasn't very surprising. I don't think so. Take her to the department, get her statement written up, and that should be it. Sure thing. Alright, miss, we're gonna have to take you into the department. Of course. When she spotted me, however, her composure visibly, brightened visibly, sorry. Oh, it's the human! Well, I'm a human. Well, I'd call you by your name, but you never actually told me it. It's Cabbage. What are you even doing here? Are you looking for our police now? Nah, it's just a hobby. Oh, you! By the way, I didn't know you also did deliveries. I do a little bit of everything, really. That's nice. I liked my coffee yesterday. If you like it, why not take our number? You could always deliver something if you, the next time if you don't want to come in. Thanks. Sorry, I guess we should get going. Bye! What do we do now? I suppose we'll head off too. Unless... oh no. What is it? We've got a violent homicide, and of course nobody from the department tells me. I have to find out from a neighbor who wanted to ask me about it. Good thing rumors travel fast, eh? Of course nobody told you. You're on sick leave. Mandatory sick leave, I might add. I'm not here in any official capacity. You see, I'm merely enjoying a curative walk in the fresh air and happened to come across you by accident. What do you want? I don't want anything. I just find it interesting that nobody tells me about this, but the prime suspect's buddy can mess with the investigation. I see how it is. I know what you're thinking, but don't jump to conclusions here. I don't need to jump to conclusions. I think the dead body we found says it all. You really have an attitude problem, you know? If you weren't on sick leave, you'd be suspended right now for attacking Cabbage yesterday. Do you even have any idea what kind of repercussions this could have on us all? Me attack Cabbage? As far as I can see, I'm the only one who's injured here. Besides, I'm so sorry for apparently being the only one doing his job. Right. Let's just all sit idly by while the suspect's on the loose and planning his next move. You know, whatever it was Rez was talking about, he was going to tell me just before you showed up. I don't need to hear you, of all people, belittling me like this. What's your problem? If anything, I want to find him just as much as you do. Don't compare yourself to me. Your words mean nothing. Enough. You shouldn't even be here. So you better go now and get some rest before I have to take disciplinary action. Fine. But when we find him, you'll see I was right. If I have to prove it myself, so be it. Can he just do his own investigation like that? Well, as long as he doesn't interfere with us, we can't really stop him from doing things in his own free time. I see. I suspect he won't adhere to the standards of performing an unbiased investigation, though. He's already made up his mind. It's clear to me that he won't be looking for facts, just for evidence to support his own view, in order to prove it to us or to himself. Who knows? He's always been like that. Always something to prove. I'll just have to be careful. He'll be looking for Reza soon enough. At least, I mean, someone will find him, right? Don't worry, Reza will turn up eventually. I surely hope so. All things considered, I had to admit that it reminded me of a possibility that Maverick was right. But could Reza, I know, really be a murderer? You know what? If you think of something that might help with this investigation, or if you need anything else, just call me. I will. Well, I think we're done here. Let's go. Bryce led me back to the apartment. I guess there wasn't much for me to do in the meantime, as I was spared the more arduous part of the investigation. maybe I should be glad about this. Though now I had an afternoon to play. What should I do? Alright, so first of all, we are going to order some lunch and we are going to skip through this. Skip mode. Hey! Thanks for the food. Oh, I forgot to invite her in. Sure, come in. Isn't there a homeless shelter? Wow. Thank you. Yeah, let's skip ahead. Okay. And let's make her save right here. Not on auto. There we go. Overwriting Chapter 5 Anna. Alright, so next time we are going to pick up with Lorem. First thing. Lorem, then we're just focusing on Lorem. We're getting Adine in the background. And we'll get her up to Chapter 3 as we get to Lorem Chapter 4. And there's a slight bit of dialogue regarding Adine and Lorem when they order pizza. So, that's everything for this stream. Double is streaming Factorio later, and I will be playing Factorio in a few minutes or so. So we'll otherwise see you guys again next time, and I hope you enjoyed. And go check out Double. He's streaming stuff, he's pretty cool to watch. And also our Discord, if you want to come, chat, hang out, make friends, chat, hang out. It's just a fun place to hang out. Kind of quiet, but, you know, just, it's a nice, calm, peaceful place. So I think that's everything. So, thank you for watching. We'll see you guys again next week, or see you in, like, I don't know, not 5 minutes, but in an hour, apparently. Hi, Justin. Alright, so I think that's everything. Have a good day.